but it is also Father Time Day. And I want to bring Gary and Kim down. And we're so blessed today that Evan and Colby and Elise, it's a little thing.
Emmy.
Emmy. And Emmy, where's she?
In the nursery.
Okay. She's in the nursery. They have come. I called Elise about 6 weeks ago and said, what would be the most, I didn't want to tell Kim because I'm afraid she'd tell me. So Kim really has no idea, do you? Okay, I'm so thankful for that. But I want to show you just a little bit, just a few pictures. I want to show you the picture of when Gary first came to Rocky Mount, what the church looked like. That is our second church 50 years ago. But I also want you to see what Gary looked like the day he walked into He denies it, but I am told that he cannot reach the pedals. And there he is, his junior year. He wore that shirt about 3 weeks ago. And we've had Miss Kim now for 41 years. But most people don't know the real story. We probably wouldn't be here today if it weren't for these two. I'm serious. When this place was trying to fall apart, and it tried several times to fall apart, these two held it together. These two. We're here in this awesome room today because what these two did 4 decades beforehand. They're that important. I just want you to give you an idea of how important they are. Gary began as the pianist of this church at 14 years old. Then he began as the organist as he learned the organ. Then he became the first choir director. Then he became the worship director. We had a lot of official titles for him. And then he became the Sunrise Singers director, which was the kids choir. And then he became the youth handbell choir, the Joyful Bells. Then one of my favorites, the Adoration Ringers. I used to love it when you come in here and see these tables lined up. It didn't matter if it was traditional or modern. Those bells were just awesome, and they brought you in the presence of God. He also did the Adoration Ringers Christmas concert. He did the musicals for Christmas and Easter. If people don't understand, the Christmas musical has to be started in October to do it right. The Easter musical has to be started in January to do it right. And he did that every single time. He began our first worship band at Rocky Mount. Think about that. Gary, our first worship leader. He became the praise choir director as that came about. I want you to think over 50 years how many funerals that Gary has helped people go into the presence of God. I know that I've done 100 with him, for a fact. So think about over 50 years, how many he's done. He was the person, the face of the handbells to get them paid for. What a face. He was the face of getting our current organ. If you ever want to walk up on stage and says, "This is an honor to Gary Lee Miller." One of the coolest things that Gary ever did was we couldn't figure out, our church was busting at the seams. We were doing about 800. And we needed to go to 5 services to try to get everybody in. And Gary was the first one that started that. So we only had a 2-minute window in each service for mistakes, over-preaching, stupidity, usually I mean. But Gary figured that out, and that's still presented today in how we do things. He helped start the youth praise band. This is a little story that was given by one of our A-15ers. Miss Pearl Mills. Sue's not here today. She couldn't. Sue, you're here? Hey, Sue. Okay. This was sent by Robin Edwards about your mother. Miss Pearl Mills, Sue Cheryl's mother, was the pianist in the Little White Church and was older and ready to give it up. The minister at the time told Miss Pearl that she couldn't quit until she found a replacement. A few weeks later, she drug a little red-headed boy to the church and said, "Here he is." I replaced him. At this time, his feet wouldn't reach the pedals. At first, he played by ear, but Gary Miller has stuck it out through the good and through the bad, through the storms and through the calmness of this church for the last 50 years. Can we give him a hand? We have given Gary gifts in each service, and there's only 3 people that know what they are, right? Yeah. There are 3 people that know in this room, and the staff knows. We've hidden it from Gary, but we tried to give him hints for each service. So the very first service, Gary loves to wear big straw hats. He takes all the flowers and the plants out in front of the church, especially the big pots. So we bought him a straw hat. Now, Gary is a fair-skinned little fellow. So we looked up how do we take care of our skin, and the article that I found said, get the closest SPF according to the person's age. So we have 100 SPF. And then in the second service, he was given a pair of Ray-Ban aviators. Now we're into our big surprise. Would you give us a guess of what you think the gift is?
A trip to a tropical place.
A trip to a tropical place. Gary?
I kind of thought that, but I'm a little confused because I heard you at the last service say we were going to go outside.
One of the Northeast.
Okay.
They're going to see a description of what you're getting in just a minute. You're not going to see it. So, not yet. So if Michelle will come here, we're going to put these things, sleep masks, on them. There is not going to be a string on the back so they can't see it. But you, before they go out, are going to get a detailed description of what they're getting. Do not put it up yet, guys, until I tell you. But you're going to know before they go outside the description of what the church has blessed this man with 50